Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nirman. I'm officially doing a post-commentary for you guys today. We're going to be talking a little bit about that armor kill gameplay, followed by, that's obviously what you guys are going to be watching. But without further ado, guys, I need to give you guys the weapon loadout, all the information that you guys are pretty used to hearing from me on a day-to-day basis. And overall, we're going to jump right into it then. I'll be using the ACWR with a red dot and a flash suppressor. Again, the flash suppressor decreases 50% vertical recoil, and the red dot I use for a variety of reasons. I like to use it for that said fact of, I can it's visually more appealing to me. I come from a Call of Duty background, so I have a lot more experience with something of this, nature, this setup. And I find it that I can snap onto headshots or heads and get headshots a lot faster than I could if I used anything else. And that's personally where I come from, that's what I like to use, and I find that to be most effective. But in the same standard, it may not be the most, enhancing visual effect and all that stuff. It may not give you that times to optics or anything of that, nature, but I find it to be effective, so that is what I use. I'm also going to be using the MP443 suppressed, and the reason I use that is because I have a trigger finger and I seem to be able to shoot faster with that, even though at the expense of a reduced damage effect. I'm also going to be using my squad perk known as cover. Cover decreases 50% of your, suppression effect. So in terms of making that you're more accurate, and yeah, so I highly recommend it. I'll also be using a javelin to decrease or to destroy their vehicles, and they do get a few of them, but at the same time I am helping my team by destroying them and at least disabling them for the tanks can finish them up and any other ground units. If you guys cannot already tell, I'm a little bit sick, so if I have to take pauses anytime during the commentary, you'll have to understand and all that stuff, and if my voice changes by the tone, I do apologize. I'm still sick, but I need to get you guys this video because it's armor kill, and I'm sure that's what you guys were probably expecting yesterday, and I was hoping to get it up, but gameplays are a little bit more difficult to get than jumping into like a Grand Bazaar or something like that, and getting gameplays because I'm more experienced in that, and it seems like everyone in this set expansion pack just kind of wants to camp and enjoy the AC-130, wait for vehicles to spawn, which is extremely unfortunate, and that's why the attacking team seems to have such an advantage in all situations. So that's really all I got to say, but without further ado, let's jump right into, the map. I mean, I'm sure most of you are looking at the map going, what the hell is this? If you're not familiar with Armored Kill, or you do not have the premium ship to, in order to get it. This is going to be Albor's Mountain, and Albor's Mountain is an interesting map. It's a snow map, and most of it is filled with, somebody wrote in a funny video, or one time I watched, they're like, yeah, it's 60% fucking trees, and it's almost true. It's basically a forest that has a lot of mountains. You do go up into the, mountains, obviously, and that's where a lot of the combat will go. It'll change shifts from really open by the board, like the water and all that stuff, to a very enclosed and quickly becoming trapped zone. You'll have hills on the side and you'll have to drive up on it, kind of like what you'd see in Afghanistan or Iraq or something like that. It's the best example I can give you. I do realize that those places are not full of snow, but at the same expense, you could just imagine a convoy of vehicles on this road, and on the side you have two humongous hills, and a lot of people sit there with their javelins, RPGs, and shoot down at the vehicles. So that's the best example I could give you guys, but again, it's kind of related, at the expense of there being no snow in Iran or in Afghanistan. But without further ado, that's really all I need to give you guys. It's obviously going to be Rush, and I'm going to be playing with the 100% tickets, so we got to get our stuff together, and everything's going to have to filter into an active assault on the two bases, or the two sites or whatever, per section of the map. So it worked out in our favor, and I actually got a pretty good score. I was really expecting not to do this well. Armored Kill, again, has been something that is very difficult to do very well in, just because of the said fact that no one wants to communicate and no one wants to play as a team. But that's all I got for you guys, so I'm going to be talking about Armored Kill. Armored Kill came with a bunch of benefits and a bunch of cons, and I'm sure you guys have heard your fair share of cons, but I'm here to tell you guys at least there are a few things that came with it that I was very impressed with. To start off, they brought in a new game type known as Tank Superiority, and Tank Superiority is probably the reason that saved Armored Kill. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Again, I don't play Conquest, so if Conquest is not broken either, that's fine. I just don't play Conquest for the said fact I play on console, and I've heard, or it's just really boring. I don't want to run around for 15 minutes, so that's personally me. Maybe some people like to have the adventure of running up and down hills. I can imagine that you could probably get a little sweaty from doing it, sitting in your chair and stuff, but I imagine that's the reality aspect of it. But in a sense, you know, tank superiority is kind of cool. It brought with it a bunch of new vehicles, and this is not just for tank superiority, it's the whole armored kill in general. But I do find that the tank destroyers are a lot of fun. I already have everything unlocked for them. I got reactive armor last night, and it was a lot of fun. You know, reactive armor makes it so that you're basically a badass and you take in 3 extra hits and you can repair it at any given time. But I do find it to be, if you have it, very effective, and I find that you have the advantage over all the new players, which, you know, it makes sense. I have everything unlocked, so I know how to use everything to my full benefit, and overall, it is amazing. So I highly recommend, if you guys are going to level up your vehicles before jumping right into something, to go play some tank superiority and just focus on unlocking everything, because once you have it, it's pretty hard to beat you. And I think you guys actually see in this gameplay, I think I do jump into a vehicle and I do have a reactive on it, but I could be incorrect. That might be a different game. But overall, I can tell you I do have it. I'm working on my 2nd star already for it, so it's definitely not too difficult to level up your vehicles in this, just because of the said fact that it's, you know, it's always going to be vehicle on vehicle action. And if you're on the ground, I do feel for you. It's going to be a very bumpy ride, but I'm sure stuff will get fixed later on. I'm sure that everything will work out for the better, you know, at a later date. Some of the other things that were introduced were new vehicles, and unfortunately I can't remember all the names for vehicles, which is unfortunate, but you have the tank destroyer, the AC-130, you have the ATVs, you know, and just a bunch of variety things. You had the mobile artillery, which I am yet to find one of those. I jumped into one last night on Conquest, and it was a lot of fun. I'm still learning how to use it, per se, but overall, like, I do find it to be a very effective. I think it'll be game-changing when people actually figure out what they're doing in it, instead of, you know, just sitting there and be like, hey, I'm in this cool little vehicle that shoots 6 missiles. You guys jelly? But overall, it's a really cool vehicle, and I do expect it to be getting some hype here soon. You know, I'm sure that somebody will pop up a gameplay and it'll quickly become some kind of tactical, maneuverable, you know, vehicle, and people will actually know what to do with it. Because I think now everyone's just like, oh, I'm just going to sit way in the back and, you know, bombard these buildings, which that does work, don't get me wrong. Like, that's a very good tactic, but at the same expense, when you're that far away and you're not anywhere near where your team is, you know, wanting you to be, I could find that could be frustrating for the rest of your team, the other 11 or 31 players on your team. And overall, I'm sure people will just kind of figure out what they're wanting to do with it, how they want to, you know, use it in the most proper manner, or at least a manner that will help your team out the most. But only time will tell with that. So, you know, I just wanted to bring that up, and I found it to be very effective. A lot of the things that they introduced were new, what do you call them, vehicle attachments, or, you know, artillery and stuff like that. Like, there's one, if you use the mobile artillery, that you can do more effective damage against ground infantry by having a splatter effect, which I thought was cool. You know, they just brought in a bunch of cool little things that I don't think we were really expecting, and overall, it turned out for the best for them, because I think it kind of gave the game new life. As much as that it's easy to say something is not, you know, our taste or something like that, or at least they didn't, you know, cater to the community in the sense that maybe if we were developing the game. I did find them to do it very effective. Aside from Rush, I think they did a very poor job on constructing Rush, especially with all the vehicles that they were like, hey, let's put all this crap in here. And I don't know, you know, I don't really know how to explain it. It's very difficult to come to a realization that Rush is no longer going to be my go-to game type anymore. Tank superiority is a lot of fun. Rush is really fun if you're on offense, but if you're on defense, it can quickly become something where you regret buying premium, or you regret buying just the map pack on a later date. And I don't want anyone to get the opinion that I'm completely dissing Armored Kill, but at the same expense, I don't want you to think that I'm, in a sense, being like, oh, I'm self-promoting it, it's so amazing, spend all your money on it. I mean, if I had to give you guys a confirmed answer, if you are not already premium, and is it in the standard of should I buy this, I would honestly have to say something along these lines. Like, it depends. How do you so wish to go about it? Are you going to be playing nothing but Rush? Because if you're going to play Rush and you're going to constantly be getting put on both sides of the offense and defending team, I mean, part of me wants to say don't buy it for that said reason, but part of me at the same time, it can be a lot of fun. It really can be a lot of fun to unleash hell on the defending team, because literally they're standing there and they're confused. But if you're going to be playing something like Tank Superiority, and that seems to be something that you're interested in from what I've told you, I would say, yes, get it. Tank Superiority is amazing. Everyone is so, you know, so tactical about it. At least the lobbies I've jumped into, I've seen a lot more mics in Tank Superiority than I've ever seen just playing Battlefield ever. I jumped into a game a couple of nights ago, and these guys were just constantly talking about, you know, tactics and where to set up, you know, use your tanks to their most effective, you know, use and everything, and it was amazing. But at the same expense, I didn't find anyone to be like, oh, what a bitch, he killed me, or something like that, you know, maybe a harassment or, you know, something along those lines. But that could have just been the lobbies that I was getting into. A lot of more mature gamers, you know, you could tell there was no squeaker squads or anything in there. But in that sense, or that regard, I guess, in a sense, you know, I would highly recommend it. I've heard Conquest is a lot of fun. I've actually heard quite a bit about Conquest, but again, I'm not a Conquest guy. If I played PC, I might, but unfortunately, that's not looking like an option, is it? And overall, if you're playing like, if you're a PC guy and you're wondering, you know, is it worth it and I don't have premium, I mean, I would recommend PC. I mean, you play on PC, I would highly recommend it. I mean, if you're going to play on PC and you're not going to get something that enhances your visual effects, I mean, there's something probably wrong with you. But Armored Kill is amazing on PC from what I've seen from gameplays by some of the, you know, more known Battlefield guys, the guys that take their time to construct and learn every single weapon to its maximum proficiencies, which, I mean, I look up to them just as much as anyone else. You know, I love watching their videos and all that, and they put a lot of work into them, so they deserve where they're at. And overall, it's just a good experience to watch some people that know more than you and can give you tips and tricks in that regard. You know, things that I would like to see fixed about Armored Kill: I don't think you should be able to spawn on the AC-130. I think that needs to be fixed, because I find it that if you're going to constantly be behind the other team, how does the defending team counter that? How do you counter that? There's no way to counter it. I mean, either A, you can stand there and look into the sky for every single minute you're playing, which takes away from the whole fun factor of defending or your personal enjoyment of the game. It's taken away from you because you're constantly having to be like, oh, there's a guy, gotta go run him down. I think that the attacking team needs to get at least one vehicle taken away. I don't think they should have that many fucking vehicles. That is absolutely absurd to have that many vehicles for the attacking team. It's not that hard. I mean, if you're going to give them 2 tank destroyers, an AC-130, I don't remember if they have a jet, so don't hold me completely to that, but I do realize a lot of the maps on Rush have a jet. But in that regard, let's say they have a jet, okay? Then you're going to give them 2 ATVs, you're going to give them an Amtrak. I mean, are you insane? The defending team has 1 tank. Not even the best player and the best tank driver in the world is going to be able to take out 2 tank destroyers, which can destroy an MBT and nothing. Literally, 2 of those versus 1 MBT is like a rock versus paper. Literally. I mean, a figurative language. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. And the AC-130 may not be very good against, you know, tanks or anything, but it just fucking annihilates buildings, infantry units, ATVs, anything of that nature. And I find that they need to make it so you can't spawn on it. Okay, then they need to decrease a little bit of the vehicles that the attacking team gets. And I think everything would be okay. Maybe the defending team gets 1 more vehicle. Maybe they can have a tank destroyer and an MBT, and that would even it out a little bit. If they're not going to give them a tank destroyer, then at least give them stationary AT units. I mean, why were those not introduced on day 1 of this? For example, at the beginning, there's A and B. There should be 1 on the docks, and there should be 1 by A, like maybe on the left side or something of it. And that would be fine. It would, 1, the Amtrak couldn't just roll up and absolutely put a hole in the wall, annihilate everyone inside. And 2, I mean, what's wrong with that? It's not like somebody's gonna be like super pro and shoot it across the map and hit the AC-130 with it. Like, I doubt that will ever happen. But that's my main opinions, guys. I do realize this commentary was a little bit more, in a sense, serious and a little bit more of me raging. And I do realize I was sick, guys, so again, if everything didn't sound awesome, I do apologize. I'm hoping to be better, hopefully by Thursday or Friday. Today's Wednesday, so tomorrow or Friday. And hopefully everything will go back up to high standards. I just need to get this video out for you guys. I wanted you guys to get my main opinions as of now about Armored Kill before you know, maybe something else happens and I change my opinions over it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. This is going to be Nerd Mode On, signing off a little early. So, peace, guys.